You know what nobody tells you about getting old? It's not about the vitamins. I spent 35 years as a neuroscientist at Johns Hopkins studying brain aging, published over 120 papers, ran a lab that tracked 12,000 people's cognitive health for 2 decades. I've scanned more brains than I can count, and I can tell you right now, almost everything you believe about staying mentally sharp is either oversold or completely wrong. My mother was a professor of literature, brilliant woman, could quote Shakespeare in 3 languages. Then at 71, she started forgetting names. By 75, she couldn't remember my children's faces. I threw everything at her. Brain games, supplements, special diets, everything the research suggested, and she still declined. It broke me. I watched this woman who taught me to love words forget how to read. For 2 years after she died, I was angry at the science, angry at myself. I had all this data, and none of it saved her. Then I started asking different questions. Not what slows decline, but what do the people who don't decline actually do? And the answers surprised me. Reason 1, and this is the big one, is not crossword puzzles. Everyone thinks brain games keep you sharp. They don't, not really. A massive study followed 10,000 people aged 50 to 90 for 10 years. Half did daily brain training, half didn't. When they tested real-world cognitive function, managing finances, following recipes, remembering appointments, there was no difference. Brain games make you better at brain games. That's it. What does work? Teaching something to someone else. When you explain a concept to another person, your brain has to retrieve information, organize it, simplify it, and adapt it to your listener. That's a full-body workout for your neurons. The longest-living sharp minds I studied weren't doing Sudoku. They were running book clubs, teaching Sunday school, explaining their trades to apprentices. My mother used to host a weekly poetry group. Every Thursday, 8 women would gather at her house and discuss a new poet. She had to prepare, had to remember what they discussed last week, had to hold complex ideas in her head and respond to others. That was her real brain training. After she got sick, the group stopped coming. I didn't realize I was removing her sharpest tool. Do this. Find one person every week who wants to learn something you know. Teach them, not online, face-to-face. Watch what happens to your own mind. Reason 2. Walking, but the wrong kind. Everyone knows walking is good, but here's what matters. Walking with a purpose, not on a treadmill. I spent 6 months in Ikaria, Greece, one of the blue zones. The people there don't go to gyms. They walk up steep hills to visit neighbors. They walk to the church on the ridge. They walk to tend goats. Their walks are social, varied, challenging. A study tracking 5,000 elderly adults found that those who walked to destinations, stores, friends' houses, community centers, had 40% better executive function than those who walked the same distance on indoor tracks. Why? Because purposeful walking requires navigation, decision-making, social engagement. Your brain is solving problems while your body moves. Treadmill walking is meditation. Destination walking is cognition. Do this. Stop walking in circles. Pick a place you want to go. Walk there. Talk to someone on the way. Reason 3. The food thing nobody wants to hear. It's not about eating less. It's about eating at the same times every day. Your brain has a clock. It expects food at certain hours. When you eat randomly, skipping breakfast, snacking at midnight, huge dinner, you confuse that clock, and a confused brain clock accelerates cognitive decline.
A 15-year study of 8,000 elderly participants found that those with irregular eating patterns had twice the rate of dementia compared to those who ate 3 meals at consistent times, even when total calories and food quality were the same. The Icarians eat lunch at 2 p.m. every day like clockwork, dinner at 8, no exceptions. My mother used to eat whenever. Work would consume her and she'd forget meals. Then she'd eat a massive dinner at 10 p.m. while reading. I think that confusion added up over decades. Do this. Pick 3 times: breakfast, lunch, dinner. Eat within a 30-minute window of those times every single day. Your brain will thank you. Reason 4. This what hurts. You need people who challenge your opinions. Not friends who agree with you, not your echo chamber. People who make you defend your ideas. A study of 3,000 elderly adults found that those with at least 2 disagreeable friends, people who regularly argued with them, had significantly better memory retention over a 12-year period than those surrounded only by agreeable companions. Conflict isn't bad for your brain. Passive agreement is. When someone challenges you, your brain has to retrieve evidence, reconstruct arguments, adapt positions. That's cognitive maintenance. The sharpest 90-year-old I ever interviewed had a weekly poker game. 5 men who'd been playing together for 40 years. They argued constantly about cards, about politics, about everything. He told me, if I don't show up ready to defend myself, they eat me alive. That threat kept him sharp. Do this. Find one person who disagrees with you on something important. Meet monthly. Have a real debate. No phones, no walking away, just ideas colliding. And finally, reason 5, the one that breaks people. You have to let go of being right. The people who decline fastest are the ones who can't admit mistakes. I've interviewed hundreds of people in their 90s. The ones still mentally agile share one trait. They laugh at their own errors. They say things like, "I was absolutely convinced I locked the door. I was wrong. I drove back. It was hilarious." The ones who decline say, "I don't forget things. Other people misremember." Your brain needs to update, to revise, to say, "I was wrong. Here's new information." When you can't do that, your brain fossilizes.
My mother's decline accelerated when she stopped admitting confusion. She'd insist she knew things she didn't, argue about conversations that never happened, protect her self-image at the expense of reality. The moment she stopped being able to say, "I don't know," was the beginning of the end. Do this. Once a week, say out loud, "I was wrong about something this week." Name it. Laugh about it. Your brain needs that flexibility. Reason 6. Sleep, but not the way you think. Everyone obsesses over sleep duration. 8 hours, 7 hours, whatever. What matters more, sleep consistency. Going to bed within the same 45-minute window every night, waking within the same window. No exceptions. A study of 4,000 elderly adults found that sleep timing variability predicted cognitive decline better than sleep duration. People who went to bed at 9 p.m. one night and 2 a.m. the next, even if they slept 8 hours, had worse memory function. Your brain does its repair work on a schedule. When you keep changing the schedule, it can't finish the job. The Icarians don't have bedtimes, but they have rituals. Coffee at dawn, lunch at 2, siesta at 4, dinner at 8, bed when the sun finishes setting. The ritual creates the consistency. Do this. Pick a wind-down ritual. Same thing every night. Reading, tea, stretching, whatever. Do it within the same 30-minute window. Your brain will learn when it's time. Reason 7, the one nobody talks about. You need something you're bad at. Not something you're good at, something you're terrible at. The sharpest elders I studied all had a beginner project, learning piano at 80, trying watercolor at 85, starting a new language at 75. Why? Because being a beginner forces your brain to form new pathways. When you're good at something, you're running old software. When you're bad at something, you're installing updates. A study following 2,000 elderly adults found that those who started a new skill after 70 had 30% slower cognitive decline than those who only practiced existing skills. My mother used to say she was too old to learn new things. That sentence haunted me after she died. Do this. Pick something you've never done, something that scares you a little. Take one lesson. Be terrible at it. That's the point. Reason 8. Death. Yes, death. The people who stay sharp longest have made peace with dying. Not morbidly, not fearfully, but practically. They've said the hard things, repaired the broken relationships, written the letters, made the amends. A study of end-of-life cognition found that people with unresolved guilt or unfinished business had faster cognitive decline in their final 5 years. Your brain can't rest when it's carrying unresolved emotional weight. The elders in a carrier talk about death constantly. They prepare, they discuss, they laugh about it. One 94-year-old told me, "I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of dying with things unsaid." He was sharper than people half his age. Do this. Write one letter to someone you've hurt or someone who hurt you. You don't have to send it. Just write it. Let your brain release that weight. Reason 9. The food itself. Fine, you want to know about food. It's simple. Eat things your great-grandmother would recognize, not your grandmother, your great-grandmother. If she wouldn't know what it is, don't eat it. The Icarians eat beans, vegetables, olive oil, fish, bread they bake themselves, wine from their own grapes. No protein bars, no meal replacements, no brain health supplements. When processed foods arrived in Icaria in the 1990s, dementia rates tripled in one generation. Do this. If an ingredient list has words you can't pronounce, put it back. Your brain didn't evolve to process chemistry. Reason 10, the final one. You need a reason to remember. Memory isn't a muscle you exercise, it's a tool you use. The people with the best memories aren't doing memory drills, they're living lives that require remembering. They're grandparents tracking birthdays, gardeners remembering planting schedules, musicians remembering lyrics, storytellers remembering details. When memory has a purpose, it strengthens. When you're just trying to remember for the sake of remembering, it doesn't work. My mother remembered every poem she'd ever loved, not because she practiced, because they were her companions. Do this. Find something worth remembering, a story, a skill, a tradition. Make remembering it matter. Then your brain will cooperate. I'm 63 now. My mother didn't make it to 80 with her mind intact. I don't know if I will, but I do this. I teach a neuroscience class to retirees every Tuesday. I walk to the coffee shop instead of driving. I eat at the same times every day. I have 2 friends who argue with me constantly, and I love them for it. I admit when I'm wrong. I go to bed at 10:15 every night after reading for 20 minutes. I'm learning guitar, and I'm absolutely terrible. I wrote letters to 3 people I'd hurt. I eat food that rots, and I have reasons to remember. My grandchildren's stories, my students' questions, the poems I still love. None of this is complicated. It's just showing up every single day, treating your brain like it matters, because it does. It's the only one you get. I hope something I said today helps you stay sharp longer than I did with my mother.
That's all I wanted to say. Thank you for listening.